Read that. We're going to see what's pleasing
That's
to
like
God.
a child, like doing
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 15. They that fear the Lord will not disobey his word.
So they that fear God, we won't disobey his word. You look around today, do you see people obeying what God said to do? How much killing goes down every day? How much adultery goes down every day?
Yeah.
We don't even
That hurts me.
Yeah, we don't even think about it.
No.
We just carelessly do it. Right.
I
Read.
don't.
And they that love him will keep his ways.
And they that love God will keep his ways. We all
His
say we love him.
commandments,
Right?
It says that,
Right. So you know what love. What is love? According to the Bible.
God is love.
God is love.
And he's the only one.
All right, right. How do we show him we love him?
Like the mayor.
That's right.
A little bit, I guess.
Give me James 1 and 22 real quick. God is love, but as we see love and to show your love to God and do what's pleasing to him, you got to keep his commandments. That's what he commands. Now, the 12 apostles that he taught, let's see what they said about how we're supposed to be serving God. Because a lot of us hear the word in the Christian church, we read the book, but we don't do the instruction. Read that.
This is the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 22. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves.
So you got to do what you hear. You know what I'm saying? We can read it all day, every day, but if you don't do what's written,
Exactly.
really don't make sense. Now I'm going to show you something. Give me Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18 real quick. I'm going to show you something about the Bible. Is the Bible for all nations? It is? Okay, I'm going to show you something. You familiar with the first 5 books? God sent Moses to right. He sent them to Egypt to get the Israelites. They exited out to walk to Jerusalem. So I'm going to show you how God determines our genealogy. Read. Because it sounds like you said you was a mulatto. That means mixed, right? Your father's Spaniard and your mother's.
No, my mother.
Your mother's is
My
Spaniard.
mother's side.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure
What's your
my
father?
dad has too. Because
Little,
on his mother's side.
I mean, would he be Hispanic or would he be Caucasian? Is what I'm asking. Hispanic.
To me,
Okay.
it's Hispanic. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Read that.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month.
So we in the wilderness on the first day of the second month. They're like, okay, let's separate. Let's get the tribes in order. There's 12 tribes, so we can have some order here. All the Judites go over there. Ephraim go over there. Naphtali go this way. So they're assembling. Read how.
And they declared their pedigrees.
What's a pedigree? What would a pedigree be?
They
They talk about that a lot with dogs.
and stuff, right?
Right, but that pedigree would be what? From breeding the dog?
Supposed to be like the high, like king or bloodline.
It would be his bloodline. It would be his bloodline. And in the sense of us, the race, ethnicity, and nationality, right? So they read from the top again.
Verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers.
So that's how you determine your race, by the house of your father.
Right.
All of those other terms come from our oppressor. All of that mulatto, mixed. You read this Bible, you ain't gonna find none of those words in there.
Yeah, of course.
What you're gonna find is God says your pedigree is by the seed, the house of your father. So for instance, if my father is so-called Mexican, which is a slave name, and my mother is Caucasian, what does that make me? Am I the seed of my father or the seed of my mother? My father. So what does that make me? Okay, Mexican. I'd be Mexican, right? Right. Now on the flip side, if my father was Caucasian who holds a seed, we call it sperm. But my mother is Israel, what is my nationality?
They say they don't go only by the father, not by the mother.
Who's the they that say that?
Israel.
Oh, does the Bible say it? Read it again, Numbers 1:18.
I guess they got it from there.
Well, this is the thing with the Bible. Do we listen to what man says, or do we read this knowledge of life that we read in Sirach 19?
It has to go back to the original Israel.
Where do we get the understanding of our pedigree? Where do we find that? In the Bible. So read it again.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day.
The congregation of who? Where are we at? In the wilderness, right?
Yeah.
So assemble the congregation of who?
5 years long.
I'm sorry?
The Israelites.
The Israelites.
You've been going around like dog chasing.
Right, read.
The congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers.
So whatever your father is, that's what you are. Whatever your father, grandfather is, that's how you determine your race according to the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So now, give me, you said, it seemed like you was a little shaky on that.
Yeah, no, adopted.
Because first you said your father was...
adopted into the root of, you know, the...
Who's adopted in?
the
Ezekiel
supposedly-
37.
Yeah.
Well, all nations?
Yeah, the...
Let me show you something in Ezekiel 37. Because what the Old Testament is the book of our fathers. When you read the New Testament, those are the children using the book of their fathers still to this day to explain. Father gives down inheritance, and our inheritance is the word of God. Let me show you the prophecy. Read that from 16.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37 and verse 16. Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick.
So he says, son of man, take you one stick. This is wood. It was made by a bunch of sticks. Read.
And write upon it for Judah.
So on that stick, this is what we got. We did what our father said. We wrote Judah on it, right? Jew is short for Judah. I'm from the tribe of Judah, so I'm a flesh and blood Jew, a real Jew.
Right.
Read.
And for the children of Israel, his companions.
His companions would be Benjamin and Levi, because when the kingdom split, do you know about that history? The 12 tribes split?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay,
Not what they taught me.
okay. It's in First Kings chapter 12. The kingdom split. 3 tribes went this way, and the rest of the tribes went, to Samaria. So his companions are Benjamin and Levi. So we talking about Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Write it on the stick. Read.
Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph.
So you take another stick. You know the history about Joseph? Joseph had 2 children, right? Who were those children? You seem like you're pretty knowledgeable.
Yeah, I know a little bit, but I don't know enough. I need to.
Okay.
I'm like way behind everything.
The Israelites sold their brother into slavery into Egypt. He had children now, which was Manasseh and Ephraim. You got Ephraim here?
Can I take a picture?
Yeah, you can take a picture.
Cool.
Ephraim and Manasseh. So he said, write another stick. What do you know about the grafting process when you're dealing with trees? What do you know about that? Because it's the reason why God said take a stick, right?
Just like Noah built the ark, he did everything.
No.
Measurements were perfect.
You know about the process called grafting in? You can Google it and look it up.
Yeah, I read a long time ago. Like I like to look things like that.
What
I love architecture, all that.
What grafting in is dealing with trees.
Right.
So you ever see a tree and you saw a branch hanging off of that tree, which was a different tree than that tree? It's a grafting in process that people do, and you can actually attach that tree to another tree.
Oh.
That's what grafting in is. That's what it's talking about.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
Love about nature and trees.
Right.
To see.
Look it up. Write it down and look it up later. Grafting in. It'll give you a better understanding about the Bible. Because what you're quoting is in Romans chapter 11 about the grafting in. So what the Christian church taught us was that this tree of the Israelites, the other nations was grafted into the tree. That's what we're taught. But what we're reading you right now is the northern kingdom that split away from Judah, Benjamin, and Levi is being grafted in. It's the same Israelites being grafted back into the same nation. Read it from the top again. Now listen close.
Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick
So we got a stick here. Read.
and write upon it for Judah.
We wrote Judah on that, right? Read.
And for the children of Israel, his companions.
Judah, Benjamin, and Levi were the inhabitants of Jerusalem when Christ was walking this earth. Read.
Then take another stick
So take another stick, because I'm about to attach somebody back to you. Let's see who those people are. Read.
and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions.
So he said, right upon it, Ephraim, that's Puerto Rican. So you do know
And
something.
my cousin is a Puerto Rican.
Right.
He married a Puerto Rican.
All right.
My brother married an Ecuadorian.
Understand? That's not a mix. Those are Israelites. Those are all Israelites. So he said, right upon the other stick, Ephraim, right?
Yeah.
Read.
And join them one to another into one stick.
And join them one to another, and we have one stick here with the 12 tribes joined back together. That's why you can see now with a bunch of people called so-called black, and we stopped the so-called Hispanic because we know we're the same race of people. When we went into slavery, exactly, originally from Jerusalem is where we're from. Africa is very big.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Africa's a
So,
continent.
there are Hamites and Nilotic people that live in Africa that's not of our race. So if we just say we're from Africa, we're not
Right,
really
no,
saying
no,
we're Israel.
exactly.
Because we were scattered everywhere, you know what I'm saying? Our true homeland, give me that in James. James 4, I believe it's James 4, 16, I ain't going to admit. I mean, Galatians. So, if you simply just say we're from Africa, that covers a whole broad people. You got Arabs in Africa.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to be specific about who we really are. So the grafting in, as prophesied by Ezekiel, is between Judah and Ephraim, which the world calls blacks and Hispanics, and also Native Americans. So this Bible is written to us, about us, and for us, that we repent, so our God come back to save us. Read that.
Motherland, right?
Yes, sir.
This is the book of Galatians, chapter 4 and verse 26.
Uh-huh.
But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all.
Jerusalem is the mother of us
course.
all. They say
Exactly.
Africa is the motherland.
No, it's
No,
That's the
not for
whole
me and you.
continent. No.
Jerusalem is our land. You realize today,
That's what I was saying the other day to myself. I was like, Jerusalem, I want to say that, proclaim that, because that is the truth.
Joel chapter 3. You realize they got it's a race of people over there fighting over our land right now that the whole world believes are Israelites or are Jews. You understand that? Now, read that. I'm gonna show you some history in the Bible. Read
Nobody owns
Start at verse 1. No, actually, we own it. It's our land, and God is going to bring us back in that land. We got rights to it. That's one of the promises that God gave Abraham, was that land. But there was a stipulation about what would happen if we got in the land and didn't keep God's commandments. Do you know why we got kicked out of the land?
because not obeying, just going the other way.
Obeying what, though?
Eh,
Disobeying what?
Satan, I guess.
Now, we're going to show you. Hold that real quick. Go to the curses. Deuteronomy chapter 28.
That's for what they
And
were
verse-
doing. I don't want to say.
I'm going to show you. We're going right back to the books of Moses, and we're going to show you what we was told in the wilderness before we got in the land. Read that.
This is the book.
15, yeah.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
So you're familiar with the first 5 books. He just killed a bunch of Egyptians for us.
Yeah.
We're in the wilderness. We're walking. My kids is with me. My family's with me. We kind of rejoicing. We going to Jerusalem, right? So this is why it said God told Moses to come to us and say, this shall come to pass, meaning not now. This is going to happen in the future.
Right.
Read.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
If you won't hearken unto the voice of the Lord, thy God. So I want to touch on something there too, because you said the book was for all people, right? So who is he speaking to right here in the wilderness?
I guess he's speaking just to Israel.
You guess or you know? Deuteronomy
That's
1 and
what
1.
it sounds like.
We're gonna see who the letter was dedicated to. And then we're gonna go back and read it, and then it's a word. I want you to tell me what the word means. But read that.
this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
To who?
All Israel.
Read.
On this side of Jordan in the wilderness.
So who's the audience?
Wilderness?
Read it from the top again. I want you to see, because you know these are letters before they was books and had chapters and verses.
Right.
So we're trying to figure out who this letter was written to. Hold
Put it
on.
together.
Just listen. We're trying to see who this letter was written to. So listen close. Read.
These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So who are these words spoken to, according to that scripture? To all Israel. Read.
On this side of Jordan in the wilderness.
So he's speaking to Israel in the wilderness. So we know exactly who this letter is to. Go
Right.
back to the curses. So now, we're in the wilderness. He's teaching us righteousness, law, statutes, and commandments, right? So it's another warning that he has for us. Read that. 15.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15.
Uh-huh.
But it shall come to pass,
Uh-huh.
if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
So if you won't listen to the voice of the Lord, your God, who's he talking to? Israel, right? What does thy mean? If you will not hearken to the voice of thy God. What is
Your
thy?
God.
So, but who is he speaking to?
Not to other gods.
Exactly. So he's the God of who?
Mhm.
Can he be the God of the other nations?
No.
No. He's the God of Israel. See how simple that is at the beginning of the Bible?
Exactly.
So that's the Israelites' God speaking to them. Read.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
So that's the problem. We had the Black Panthers, we had the Brown Berets, we had SNCC, we had Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey. We had all of these people marching, saying we shall overcome. Why can't we be treated like the other nations? But the stipulation was what? If we don't what?
Observe to do all his commandments and his statute, which I command thee this day.
That's the Black and Hispanic problem right there, not keeping God's commandments. We think this is just a book. This is a book of life. It's alive.
Yes.
But
That's
we
what it
refuse to keep the laws that's in this book. That's why we got brothers homeless out here sleeping under the tree. We got people strung out on drugs. That's why we don't do well, because we don't do what's pleasing to God, which is what we read earlier in Sirach chapter 2. And what's pleasing to God is his commandments.
Listen.
What is a nation?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, his word